Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rise with Reis. And today I have Reis with me, and we are here for another episode to help you determine how to, I don't even say determine, but discover who you are on this journey and elevate your true self so that you can become the highest version of you to allow and become the mirror and attract a reflection of who you are through the twin flame journey, your life, everything around you. So welcome, Reis. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Harmony. Absolute pleasure showing up every week for you beautiful souls. So I feel this is a real hot topic because we talk a lot about being in union and the challenges that we face, but there's also this kind of feel that we should be having this fairy tale relationship, that we should be having this experience, that we have no bumps in the road, we have no hurdles to face, and we have no challenges. Because when we get together and we connect and we come into union with our twin flame, it's so incredibly powerful and dynamic. And the feelings that we get come up, it's just so big, it's so huge. I know you can agree with me on this.
Totally. And I just want to say something for everyone to know that today on our topic here in the Rise with Ray shows, we are going to be talking about and really asking you the question and helping give you some direction within your own journey is how are you viewing this and how are you navigating your journey? And are you looking at it from a place of just this is struggle and challenge, or are you seeing the growth that it's giving you or helping you with? And so we really want to help you kind of maybe shift your perspective from where you've been at seeing nothing but the hurdle, the pain, the struggling, the suffering, to be like, okay, this is actually helping me grow. And how? So yes, go right ahead and finish, Reis.
Yeah. So if you're relating to this, really drop your questions and your comments in the box below, because we're really here to help and assist you with this journey. And we're talking a lot from my own personal experience with my flame and how I've navigated all the twists and the turbulence with him, with his soul. And it's been incredibly challenging. And there's been times where I've just gone, I just want to give up, and I can't do this anymore. It's so hard. Now, when we really look at the struggle that we're going through, it's really turning it back on us, the challenges. Now, as I said, it's about dispelling this illusion that when we're in union, everything's going to be a fairy tale, everything's going to be perfect. So when we have these challenges come up, when we have these triggers, these traumas come up, when we have this reflection come up, when we are watching our flame, this is something that I have gone through continuously, where I've watched my flame hit hurdles within his growth, and he's really, really stumbled and really fallen. And I've really tried to assist and to help and to no prevail. I've gone through so much struggle trying to assist him, to help him. And really,
and that's what I find where most people get hung up on it. They want to help the other person, where this is a personal journey and you're not able to do the work for the other person. Only can they do it for themselves.
And this can be so incredibly frustrating, Dr. Harmony. You know this, it can be so frustrating because you're working externally all the time. You're like, I want to fix my flame. I want to make things right. I want to change things. And then you can go into real struggle. And this has been a real hurdle that I've really come against, a real challenge within my flame relationship. And I know a lot of people, they hit this point where then it starts to become an internal battle, an eternal struggle within the relationship, because we can't actually do this work. It's really important that we embody this for ourselves and we use this. And the challenges that I've actually been watching my flame go through are an internal reflection of what I needed to work through myself.
Can you give an example of that, please?
Yeah. So a big part has been my flame's trauma. So trauma of abandonment, trauma of his childhood wounds, where he has really lashed out and he struggled. We both experienced a hell of a lot of loss in our lives.
So does he get triggered, is what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? By you?
a lot of triggers. Yeah, I can trigger it. Now, to me, I know that I'm not the cause of it. And I feel that's really important to touch on that, because
Mhm.
we can really feel that we're to
And then we
blame.
take it personal if
Yeah.
we can take that personal thinking, "Oh, they're upset with me,"
Yeah,
right?
exactly that,
Mhm.
because they're lashing out at you, they're taking it out on you, and you can go into this kind of push me, pull me effect with them where you're trying to fix them, you're trying to make things better, and then you can go into this internal battle. And I can tell you something for sure, I've been there quite a few times with my flame, where we have been pushing and pulling, and there's such a struggle because this trauma's coming up. When you're with your twin flame, they really bring up these internal struggles, they bring up these traumas. They're bringing this up, ready to cleanse. But what I really gain from the insight of stepping back and having help, having inspiration, having guidance, and I would like to really, really implore to everybody out there, if you're struggling on this journey, reach out. Reach out and get some help, get some assistance, because we're not meant to do this on our own. We need to have somebody shed some light, give you a safe space to talk, give you a space to give you tools to help you understand. And this has been one of the biggest um, journeys for me, is actually understanding the self-development that needs to come from within. Because I've often turned up, and I know that I have done with you, Dr. Harmony, where I've gone, give me that tool, give me those tools to help my twin flame. And and actually, the tools needed to be given to me. They needed to be given to me to show me what I needed in order to help me grow, to show me the true reflection. And if you are in this period of struggle and you're in this period of frustration, I want to give you this hope that there is about to be a great breakthrough. That
Can
when
you
this
can
breakthrough happens, sorry, go on, Dr.
No,
Harmony.
I'm sorry, but I wanna go back to what we were saying when you
Yep.
said he's triggered and you don't take it personal.
Mm.
How do you manage that?
Well, this has been,
Especially when you're in the same house and you live together, right? Because
yeah.
it's one thing to when people aren't with their twin flame, you don't live with them daily, but when you're in the same house, that's really deep. I've went through that before
Mm.
recently in the past couple years. And when you both are triggering, mirroring each other, you really have to honor the space for the other person.
Absolutely. But it's honoring that space for you. So,
Yeah.
to me, having that personal space when we're in that place has been the profound growth that I've needed in order to connect me back
Mhm.
to me. Because when you're in that and you're in that bubble and you're in that energy, it's really, really hard to disconnect from that and to remove yourself away from that. So
Well, and the
actually,
way I think that really helps you do that is to not take it personal, like I was saying before, and
yeah.
realize that's their own inner wounds, their own childhood wounds, their own healing that they need to do.
Mm,
And what I've really discovered for myself, even in that, if you can't expect them to give you something you can't do for them.
no,
And that's what
no.
most people on this journey do. And that's not unconditional like it's supposed to be.
Mm,
I
mm,
mean, most people do expect something. They want to fill the void. They want them to show up for them. They want to, have their own needs met. But
mm.
in the in the back end of that, and the flip side of that, it's like, well, are you really honoring their needs by giving them the space to go do what they need to do, even if that means being with a karmic partner to finish a soul contract?
Mhm. Mhm. And I would definitely say, through every single aspect of going through these experiences, it's always been that reflection of going back into my own personal space and taking that time to actually reflect that back. Because I know we're saying it's hard to not, don't take it personal, but they trigger so much trauma and emotion within you when they're going through that. And that can
Mhm.
be hard to recognize because you're so fixated on actually their experience, their journey, and what they're going through, that actually you sometimes need that perspective to see what it is that you need to see within
Yeah, and
you.
also to see it that what they're mirroring back to you,
Mm,
meaning the experience had to take place exactly how it did to mirror to you, or you would not have ever seen what you need to see through the interaction.
mm. And I feel that that is the catalyst. That's the
Yeah.
catalyst for growth, because when you actually recognize that there is no separation in this and that you are harmoniously actually working together as one and aligned with one, then the healing can occur. Because there's been periods where me and my flame have had to really actually be in separate buildings, where we cannot be in the same place because our energy has been too volatile, because there's so much coming up. And when actually you recognize how to honor this space, it's honoring where is it you're going. You are going to have the growth out of this situation no matter what. But actually there we can take a lot of struggle out of that for you. And I feel that this is what we're here to do today, is actually
Yeah.
pinpoint and take out that struggle for you. Because I know that if I'd have found my mentors, teachers, guides years ago, back at the beginning of my journey, where we started experiencing these situations, then I would be further along. But it's really accepting that actually, if you're really open to understanding that that you love your flame, that you are in this union, that that actually there is love in this relationship. And it's, don't lose sight of that, because we can get broken down through volatile situations, or your flame may be taking situations out on you. And I know that especially with my flame, he's had to undergo a lot of cleansing through bereavement. He's had multiple bereavements where he's had to really work through a lot of this, which has fallen through abandonment, which has then mirrored back within me. And it's really understanding that he has to go through his own journey to do this, that it's not for me to fix, to take away, or and when I've been blamed a lot, actually, because I can see that he's in a deep state of trauma and everything is coming back to me, I feel that can be one of the most challenging things, which is what we're taking it back to, is the not feeling like we're the responsible ones for creating this trauma in the first place, for being the ones that are responsible for this. And I do feel that we really need to emphasize on that message, that actually you are not to blame because you're going through this situation. The situation is happening for you, not to you, to give you that expansion of growth. And the growth that we've experienced through this has taken us profoundly. I'm not just talking like, we've taken a step forward. We have taken a giant leap over what I can describe as a mountain of growth and ascension, through actually when we have taken that own personal responsibility for our own individual growth.
Yeah, and we talked about that like a week or two ago about taking responsibility. So if you're new to the show, Rise with Reis, and you're ready to elevate your true self so you can attract your highest match, then make sure to go back to our playlist, the Rise with Reis show, that you can, connect to other series that we've done with some very profound information. You can check out the links above and below that share information about how you can work with Reis or myself, so that you can go deeper within yourself to take responsibility for your wounds, your challenges, your growth, and those sorts of things, making an investment in yourself first and foremost. And I also want to recommend or share with you, if you've not got plugged into the 5-day challenge, the mirror challenge, the perfect challenge is that there's a link in the description above or below, depending upon the platform you're on, and that can help you kind of discover more about Raising Mind's journey on the inside, like an inside scoop, and how we've navigated things to a level of coming to an acceptance of who we are, meaning that where you are is perfect enough to have the love you desire. And it's coming into the place of knowing that you don't necessarily have to do the work to have what you want, because that's saying you're not okay for who you are, where you are, and then that's separating you from what you actually desire. So I'd highly recommend you check out those resources. And today's topic, we are talking about how to navigate the journey and face your challenges and overcome them in such a way that you're looking at the growth in this, not the idea that all of this is happening to you that's creating more trauma. So if you have very specific questions, or you have information you'd like to share with us, please let us know, because we're going to take some questions here in the next couple minutes or so. But I just feel guided to go back to this idea of, at the end of the day, this growth is inside. No
Mm.
matter, ultimately, we want that connection with someone and greater love, and a higher love, and it's a synergy and it's a dance. But if you can't dance the dance within this masculine and feminine energy that's taking place inside of you, you cannot dance it effectively outside of you. Twin flame or not, whatever it is, any dynamic, any interaction is a mirror of what you have going on inside. And I don't know if
Mm.
you've ever heard this, Reis, but have you ever walked into somebody's house or even look in their car and everything's, say, messy or a mess or clutter or, all these things? Your
Mm.
car is how we get through life. It is
Mm.
a representation, literally, in feng shui and energy, of our navigation process. So
Mm.
I would ask everyone, what does your car look like right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is
We're
it
talking
cluttered up?
about
Because it's a reflection of what's going on inside of you, right? And this is
absolutely.
exactly what I'm saying too. Like, what do you got in your home? Is the flow and the energy moving, or do you have clutter? Do you have, things that are blocking the energy flow? It represents what's going on inside. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
Yeah, what you're saying about that, everything is a representation of you. And we've really hit a few hurdles recently where we've had, lots of different situations come up where we've been challenging. And I'm looking, and I'm constantly, I like everything to be tidy and I like everything to be clear. And I'm constantly working against clutter all the time at the moment. So energetically, whether it's in your home or your house, it does align with you. But really going back to the topic, I really want to emphasize about the you are your own twin flame. And when you recognize that you are your own twin flame and that your flame is showing you what it is that you need to grow within you and actually nurturing that inner flame, when you can take that back to you and actually hold that within your heart space, that you are your own twin flame. So really embody that, because when we actually take that back to us and we take away the external, what we can see, the perception, the trauma, all of this, what we're experiencing, and actually hold it within us, and how we could nurture our flame within us, and knowing that your flame is with you. I feel that's a really profound perspective to take on board, so you can really turn that healing back internally. Yeah.
Yeah. And so before we take some questions and comments here that we'll pull up here in just a second, um, let's talk just about a couple practical ways for people to implement this idea of clearing the clutter within, which
Mm.
is a manifestation of what you want in your life. And so, and this is so simple. I've used this with clients for I don't know, years, maybe forever, maybe even back to when I just saw patients. But and this is a good time to do this at the beginning of the new year coming up too. So take inventory of what your home looks like, and what the energy flow of that looks like. And do you have clutter? Do you have things you need to get rid of? Do you have things you're attached? Do you have things you're holding on to? Do you keep things tidy or things all over the place? Because again, that represents what's inside. So
Mm.
the reason I'm saying this to keep it simple is because, number one, we want to correct the clutter, decrease the clutter inside, in the mind, in the energy flow, in the body, and the interactions. So what
Mm.
happens is, I'm going to use this as an example. People get like overwhelmed and confused on where to start. Because if their whole house is a mess, as a reflection of your whole life being a mess, then it becomes like, okay, this is overwhelming. I don't even know where to start and where to begin with all what's going on with me.
Mm.
And so what I tell people to do is take and start in the areas of your life that um, you're in the most, or the
Mm.
place that you start your day. So number one would be two main areas: your bathroom and your closet.
Mm.
Because you got to get clothes out of your closet in the morning. You got to show up in your bathroom every morning.
Mm.
While it might be overwhelming to clean out your whole house, clean out, everything, start by cleaning your bathroom and keeping it clean. And then every day, every week, move from that place to, like, say, your bedroom, then maybe move to the, like for me, it would be like an office that I'm in mostly in another room, and then maybe move to the kitchen and move things around. But I don't care if it's just like, okay, I've only got time to maybe open a drawer and clear the clutter in it and straighten it out today. But what you're going to notice is the shift in energy in that is going to shift the energy in you that will give you the momentum to keep moving through life through this sense of flow.
Mm.
And that's why, and probably I know some of you have watched my Calling in Love in 2021. It's a series on here, so check it out because it's coming up on a new year. And but I was cleaning out my closet, and I've like for years and years and years and years, every New Year's Day, I clean out my closet and get rid of things, open up space, organize, and keep it to the place of, flow. And I had done this at a home years and years ago, and people come over to my house and they'd be like, I want to live in your closet because it was like a
Yeah.
walk-in. And I put in like all these like wooden, shelves and shoe racks and
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah.
And it's like it was just became so beautiful inside the closet. It's like, okay, it became a whole room. They just want to like crawl up in a little better, spot in there. It's to make such a difference. And so when you can do that and you learn how to, like, say, go through your stuff externally and see and feel the resistance, oh, I don't want to get rid of that. Oh, I didn't let
Mhm.
that go. Those are reflections of how you were attached to things, and there's something deeper than that.
Mm.
So, those to me, and I hear I asked you and say, let's share some tips, and then I just went into a little spiel with it. But
I think that's really beautiful. I think that's a really beautiful exercise to do. I feel like that's a really good, clear starting point for people that are going, do you know what? It's just so overwhelming. And actually, when you energetically, I actually clear my closet out every month and I refill it.
see, you got me
Redo it
beat. I do
every
one thing.
month. I
No, I
do.
actually do it more than that too, but like,
I actually do my flame stuff for him as well because he works such long hours. And I really take a lot of, care over doing that for him and over nurturing him, and actually putting that energy into making sure that he's organized. And because he works such long hours, because he's, up the house, out of the house at 5 every morning, sometimes not back till 6, so it's really taking that time. And I think that's really beautiful. It's a beautiful place to start. I'll just piggyback that and actually say about keeping your home really cleansed. I sage and I use a lot of oils, and I get mine from Glastonbury back in the UK. Just beautiful. Just connect with your energetic tools and use them. Your crystals or whatever it is that you feel drawn to, whether it's praying or blessing your room, whatever it is that you feel your connection is, just really bring that back into your home, into your space, because maybe you've lost sight of that and you've lost sight of actually having that in your home. And that's something that you go out and have to seek externally. So when we can bring that practice back into a home, do our meditations and actually honor that space, because when we talk about being in that conflict, it's really important to have that space. And as we said, sometimes we can't gain that space, but actually keeping your own identity throughout the whole process and keeping to your practices, like your meditation, your exercise, your nutrition, all of these things that actually will help your flame align to you. Because actually, when you're watching somebody else do these practices, when you're watching somebody else have this in place, instead of actually being told you need to exercise or you need to meditate, isn't it really empowering when you see somebody? Because it makes you want to do it yourself, doesn't it? So
yeah.
actually bringing those practices in. So maybe you feel like your flame needs some of this, I need some more of this. Why don't you start taking that on yourself? Become that, be your own flame, be that, and actually see the ripple effects of the energy of how it unfolds. I'll put that to the test.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And also, kind of to piggyback that, when you clean out that drawer or you clean out that closet or you clean that bathroom, and then you walk in there that morning that you're in there, you can feel a difference in the energy and your vibration and the vibration of it. And so that gives you the momentum and the fuel to be like, oh, I feel better in there. Oh, I feel good in there. Oh, I'm going to now let me like do a little bit more because it feels so good that I want to, do some more. Right?
Yeah,
And I just
yeah.
have to say this really quick. That's so I keep saying it's cute. I don't know what you call it, but I love it. So the other day, Jeremiah was going to take out the trash, and and I looked over and we were about to take Champ out for a walk. And I was in the middle of something. I may have had 20 or 30 minutes to go. And I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to take out the trash." I said, "Well, we're going to go out in about 20, 30 minutes. You don't want to wait?" And he goes, "I know how you are about the energy flow, and I don't want to just disrupt you, just it to disrupt you. So I would rather take it out so you're not disrupted energetically." And I said, I really appreciate that, because if I were up moving around and we weren't going out, that bag of trash sitting at the very front door would be so disruptive of that energy and that chi coming in. He said, "But
Yeah.
I'm in the office. I'm not going to see it until we go out, and we're going to go out. So you can wait if you like." But it was just the gesture.
Beautiful. That's really beautiful. And actually, the communication behind that I feel is really beautiful, because sometimes we do things and they're not really acknowledged. But actually, what he's done is really made you go, "Do you know, I've really
Yeah.
thought about that. I've really thought about what he's doing for me right now." And it's something really small, like taking out the rubbish, But actually, just actually voicing that and saying, instead of going, "Oh, I'm doing this because you can't do it," or whatever, this is a chore. Actually, it's working in that union, it's working in that unity and that energy flow of
Yeah.
that
And I just have to tell you this. I mean, we're talking about taking out the trash, but I mean, think about that on the same level of cleansing and clearing and purifying
mm,
yourself.
mm,
Like when we get triggered, when we go through this thing, and then this journey is taking out the trash,
yeah,
right?
like
It really is. And so, like, your twin flame is helping you take out the trash.
and that's what it is, yeah, and you are literally letting go. I remember this journey, this is, there is no destination to it. It is a continual flow, and we're gonna hit these hurdles. We all are gonna hit these hurdles. There is no perfection, and it's really recognizing that actually, taking it back to that place of love and recognizing why you're here, what you're doing, and why you're with your flame. And because if you're really feeling challenged at this point, maybe you just need to turn that back round to you and start loving you and valuing you that little bit more, and taking you into that space. As I said, we're both here to offer that assistance and support.
Yeah. And what I've been saying, part of this is all week, maybe longer, but it's came up for me. Clients showed up. I just keep saying this over and over. So I have to say it here. You know, I've been saying for years about it's alignment. And alignment is like getting in the flow, right? A flow of energy that we're talking about here, and the flow of our consciousness, and the flow of our journey, and the flow with the twin flame, right? It's like, I want to get in the flow. I want to get in the flow. No, I am the flow.
Yes.
Okay. And I even got this ring when I got here to Sedona that
Wow.
represents being the flow.
No,
And so it's all been coming to me that I am the flow.
it's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. So anyway, let's take some comments here, acknowledgments. We've got Crazy Lion and Heidi with us today. And if you have any questions, anyone, feel free to let us know. So hello, Crazy Lion. Thanks for joining us. You think the topic is very relatable, because this is something which we all face in crazy relationship. Yeah, very important. So just so if you're just joining us and you haven't already really plugged into like what this topic is specifically on the Rise with Reis show here that we do every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are talking about your navigating your journey from a place of overcoming challenges and being able to transmute, transform, and transcend that into the idea that it's more about personal growth. And what is your viewpoint on that? So, Heidi, totally understand what we're both saying. You're very welcome, Heidi, and thank you, Heidi, for showing up so um like every week, so supportive. I'll let you go ahead and go with these, Reis.
So true, Crazy Lion has said personal journeys are always interesting. I love how they're just as unique as we are. And the next question to you, Dr. Harmony, is you mentioned soul contracts a few minutes ago. How would you define a soul contract? Is it a lifetime specific, for example? For a long time, I've wanted to ask this to an expert. I'll raise two.
Okay, so it's a very, very good question. First of all, Crazy Lion, so first of all, In our soul's evolution, our soul signed up to experience lessons. And the lessons are specifically to create experiences so that we undergo. This is really good because this is piggybacking this, that we undergo challenges, so to speak, to experience the growth that we need to grow. So the lessons create the growth. All right. And so in the process of that, we have interactions, we have relationships, we have experiences, we have a journey that we take. And so a soul contract, first of all, is with our soul mates, our soul family, our soul partners. And that could be karmic, that could be twin flame, it could be, I call them ascension teachers that we align with and we connect with based on several factors. So the key in this is to know that when we go through lifetime to lifetime, we have been going into a soul group, a monad, also known as a monad, that has 144 souls that you recycle with over and over and over through your soul's evolution of its incarnation. And as you go through that process of each one, you have been with many of these people over and over and over and over again. The key in that is in this particular life, very, I'll say impactful ones, or you're reconnecting with more than one that's very deep and very challenging for you to clear the karma between the other past lives and to bring balance to that karma in the other past lives. So these contracts are with all of these people that you've created, like from multiple times, that in this particular life, it's about bringing closure to the karma. So we can put it into the past for the collective. And based on that, we are clearing multiple past lives in this life, more than the history of ever time. We're condensing and purifying our soul, which is how we're moving past the past for the collective. So when you go back to your question, I mentioned soul contracts for a minute, and how would you define a soul contract? So you have signed up with these people to reinvent situations, to put you in a similar situation you've experienced from a past life with them or someone else, so that you can bring it full circle. You can bring it to completion. You can learn, usually it's one side of the coin to learn the other side of the coin. So I'll give you an example. If you were abandoned in a past life, you have to abandon someone. You're on both sides of the fence, but it brings your soul into balance for understanding what these aspects are, what these lessons are, having done both sides of the coin, so to speak, to bring it full circle. So hopefully that helps. Do you want to add anything to that, Reis?
Yeah, I'll just say that this is where we're at, in this period of growth. More and more souls are really being brought up these challenges at this point, a lot of them in karmic contract relationships. And we're seeing a lot of this at the moment where people are struggling to break free from the cycle. So these contracts are really, they are really painful to let go of. So I really wouldn't underplay any of it. I know we're not. The lessons that we're getting from this, because we've experienced so many in previous lives coming up for this completion. At this period, in this time, in this period of ascension growth, they're coming up and they're so heightened. So if this is you and we're touching on this with you, then really,
So I want
really
to say something about, I'm sorry, I may interrupt you. This brought up another point about the karmic partners and why that's so important for people right now. Because let's say, and this happens a lot with the divine masculine as a collective. So the divine, everybody's talking about the karmic partner and the divine masculine. Well, part of that is that the divine masculine, and to bring balance in the collective energy of the feminine and the masculine. So the divine masculine, if they've been truly unconditional and they've showed up from a place of fully being heart-centered, not knowing how to say no, being so giving, so heart-centered, and basically just showing up, but never having had that in being receptive of that, because the divine feminine have not showed up for the divine masculine in these karmic relationships. And I've seen this with more than one divine masculine. It's been a repetitive pattern in the divine masculine I've seen, where the divine masculines have gave. And I said this to somebody the other day that I think it was a client I was talking to, where my pattern with the divine masculine was that I became the person for them to say no to, because they never said no to a divine feminine. They always just gave. Okay. So I've been the one that's created a scenario for them to say, no, I can't give to you because I have to choose myself. And they've never done this before. And even if they have done this before, they haven't done it to the level to complete their karma and contracts most of the time with these karmic partners. So the karmic partners are coming through to help them bring closure to the past of other lifetimes they've spent together. And it's putting divine masculine in a position to stand up in their power, to come into the embodiment of their power so they can like own their own truth, speak their own truth, stand in their power, which is what we want in a divine masculine. So they're having to really step out of like giving. And where it came to the misalignment with me has been that I would show up being ready to receive. They show up giving, and be like, oh, I can't give to you because I have to learn how to hold that empowerment within myself. I got to stop giving more than I get. And so that has been a thing that I've seen over and over and over, to where they have to, I've given this space through our alignment and also soul contract that says, I need to choose myself. And it's beautiful. Watch that. So I've seen that. And, I have to, when that's happened to me, I have to more than once put myself in a position of, wow, that wasn't exactly what I needed or wanted. But on the flip side is it really was, because it gave me the choice to also choose myself and say, I need someone to show up for me that is ready to give to me to the level I can also give to you.
Mm.
And that's how this journey works from a pendulum, going from all or nothing. Let's say you're overgiving, and the harmonic laws of the universe say you got to be equal. So if somebody's given too much, then all of a sudden they have to learn the tools to learn how to stop. They got to kind of pause and regroup themselves and say, okay, I got to stop doing that because I can see it's a pattern, before they can come back to the neutrality of the pendulum and say, oh, okay, now I've learned how to come into my own empowerment. So now I can start giving again. But what I have been teaching a lot of these divine masculine, because I work with a lot of them, is that, okay, because I've seen this happen with them and their karmics over and over and over and over. And I say, okay, here's how to navigate that. Try to still show up and be who you are and as giving as you are, but also know you need to learn to be open to receive, and you need to come into your power to speak up to these karmic partners and women that have taken advantage of you flat out.
Absolutely.
So, as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about that.
That just came out. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So I would say True Crazy Lion. There's an incredible book written by Dr. Brian Weiss called Many Lies, Many Masters.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely incredible. So really, it's a must. I think I read it in an afternoon because I just could not put it down. And I would really implore you to go out and get that book.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Reis, for showing up to share with your shine with us, your passion, your love. And I just want to, hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, and just continue to join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to check out the resources above and below in the links. And we truly look forward to connecting more and sharing more. And let's see. Thank you. You're very welcome for the explanation. And Reis, you want to read this one for me? I don't have my glasses on. There's pieces of I can
Thank you both for this explanation. You're saying lots of things here which are making sense to me. I've actually begun exploring my own past lives in recent years and thinking my soul needs closure. So what I would just say to that is that, yes, just be open to that, But actually just being open to that and understanding that this will come into your life for those experiences, that actually when we are open to this and we have this higher awareness that there is healing that needs to occur within that place, then that's beautiful. But actually we can't control this. This isn't within our control. So these lessons will come up for you as and when you are meant to experience them to serve you for your growth at that period in time. So it's just about staying true, working. But I definitely suggest True Crazy Lion, get that book, Many Lives, Many Masters. It will really touch your life.
You know, I just got to piggyback that where you say it's so important that you're going to get the experiences you need when you need them for you to get the growth you need out of it. And it may look like a challenge, but it's creating growth within you. But on the flip side of that, you can actually rise above some of this by talking to your higher self, talking to your guides, working with someone like Reis or myself, that we help you go into a place of completing these soul agreements or completing what I call your soul contract, and canceling the contracts and completing the soul agreements. All right. It's very specific for that because there's two separate things. And there's also a collective portion to this because you have karmic debts and vows that your soul signed up to in this agreement with yourself and the higher self for these lessons to learn. So some of them you can't get out of, but we're coming to a place that if you can go into a sense of like, I want to bring completion to this, you can speak to your higher self, you can work through this, and you can ask for anything that no longer serves you to be released and freed from it. And then to bring forth what it is you need to complete. Now that can get challenging, but if you're ready to get it over with, it will show up and present itself because you've gave permission and you've asked to complete these agreements and come full circle so you can bring freedom and liberation, which is what this is all about, to your soul.
Yeah, I've done many ceremonies, burning ceremonies, where I've actually burnt my soul contracts and I've burnt and I've let go of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we
And
do that. And that's one of the things I've offered in an actual contract that I've offered in the programs I've created, which raises also carrying out that program that can help you go through how to do that. So make sure, to check out the resources above and below if you need any assistance. And we look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you then. May you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.